Hello, everybody, and welcome to a TCGS Spoilercast. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell,
Hello.
James Farley,
Hello.
and Matt Murray.
Hello.
We are going to be going through Life is Strange Double Exposure Episode 1. This is the podcast for Episode 1. We have all only played Episode 1. We've not played Episode 2 yet, so we have no idea where this is going to go. If this is your first Life is Strange spoiler cast with us, then let me just explain how we do these things. We play an episode, we each take notes, and I tend to go through my notes because they're the most ludicrous and make no sense. And everyone else reminds me that I left out big chunks of the story, and we'll go through each other's decisions and go from there and see where we end up. If it's the first Life is Strange spoiler cast you're listening to, then why not go back through our podcast episodes? There's a Life is Strange 2 spoiler cast. There's some others. I can't remember.
Last of Us Part 2.
We did
Yeah,
True Colours, right?
you know.
But we did it in one.
We did True Colours in
Sitting.
one go, and I think
wasn't
this
this
time we wanted to do it by
Yeah.
episode. Although, if you remember, True Colours, some of the episodes that just nothing happened, so it would have been a bit of a short show. But that's fine too. This is probably not going to be a long one, but let's see where we end up. Are we all ready to go through Life is Strange Double Exposure, Episode 1?
Yes.
Still life.
Yes.
If you would like to know what we think of the idea of going back to Max's story and what we think of the game overall, then there's a non-spoiler view of this that we give of this game on the main show, and that's on the same feed that you found this. Just listen to any of the podcast episodes. I can't remember which number we spoke about this game, but we've been speaking about it for the past few. So.
We're recording this on the 26th of November. This might not be out for like a month or something, right?
Yeah, I think the plan is that we
It's gonna
release
be
them over
longer than
Christmas,
that.
so there isn't a Wednesday that goes by without some bit of content.
How many episodes are there? Is it 4 or 5? I can't remember.
Five.
Five.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting this done by the end of the year, to be honest with you. But we'll.
Well, we better,
we move.
because Rachel really wants to finish this game. So
She can finish it. Sorry, Rachel is James's daughter who wants to finish this game and talk to his dad. We're really late with this podcast. Okay, can we go through the episode, please?
Yeah.
Here are my notes. You start by choosing what you want Max to wear. I find this kind of odd. It's the first time we've seen our main character, and it's in a rather basic outfit selection screen. Unfortunately, it looks like this is all in service of limited edition versions of the game. You know, we spoke about this during a True Colours, that clearly these games have an audience, but it's not a massive audience. So one of the directions dev teams seem to have taken with Life is Strange and Tell Me Why You Did That Last Time and all the other games that, along this line, they seem to reduce the costs or find ways of reducing the costs. And also here, I feel this is the first time they've really tried to look to reduce the costs of an episode, but also expand on how to monetize it. And the whole...
I mean, it might not have been the devs' decision, right? This could have all been publisher side. But, yeah.
They've got to make money at the end of the day, and I get it. But I was just a bit disappointed. Like, I would have rather, you meet the main character, and then when she's back in her room, you then select the outfit there.
In a wardrobe, yeah.
Because it did also feel like it was building up to seeing Max for the first time. I think you see her feet first, and then it pans up, and you're like, it's Max, but we've already seen it because I wanted to wear the duck t-shirt or whatever. It was a bit disappointing.
The choices in that are odd as well, because it's like you can't mix and match between indoor and outdoor clothes, which is odd. Like you have to just choose one set.
Yeah, that annoyed me.
Right.
Yeah.
I want different outfits, and you couldn't. Where are they paired?
Okay. It opens with Max and someone else breaking into some sort of shithole, is what I've written down here. Is it just me, or is the look sensitivity way high in this game? So the moment you first get to... Yeah,
so
what's going on with that?
Horizontally, it's fine, but vertically, it's the same. And vertical sensitivity should be way lower than horizontal, right? So
really?
if you accidentally tilt it up or down, it's like... Yeah, it's really annoying.
Did you change it in the settings?
Yes. I think I'm not even sure. Can you... I don't think you can change it, can you?
Yeah, you can. I changed the look sensitivity way down, and I mean
that's right,
way
but you
down.
can't change it independently, horizontally, and vertically,
but if you turn it all down, it works fine. But
I must say, I didn't notice that at all.
What the hell is going on?
I
didn't notice it
either.
Just
it's because you're into your Twitch shooters, aren't you?
That's true,
like this is how
Call of
you
Duty, so
yeah,
how you two roll.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Matt's not played a video game before, so he's got nothing to compare it to. But usually it's not this sensitive, Matt.
Oh, is it not? Okay. Well, for my first one, it was fine.
Walking around chatting, there seems to be an early opportunity to make a relationship with Safi. What do you want me to do? Look pretty or make a drink?
Well, before this, I got annoyed because the first scene, you enter the building, tiny little room, you can look around, and then it's like there's a bookcase that's blocking the entrance. I'm like, you could just literally crawl under it.
Yeah.
There's a massive gap there. So what do I do? Just go under it? I don't know.
There's a lot of that in this. There's a lot of moments where it's like, well, I'll just go down there then. And the game's like, no, it doesn't work like
you cannot do that,
actually.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean,
I think that I read a line down. The line was like, "It's nothing easy. How do we get around that?" It's like, literally just crawl under it, mate. Is life so difficult? Oh no, just there. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole relationship thing with Safi, I thought was a little bit too. I've mentioned this time and time again with these games, but sometimes it feels like relationships and interests. I would like the character to decide rather than me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but there does seem to be a lot of here's a male potential relationship partner and here's a female one, and they're pretty similar, but you've got to choose, and it's kind of like, all right, I guess. And this would, it introduced that idea of you deciding if Max is in a relationship or at least interested. Or
yeah,
not,
but I didn't like the fact. Yeah, we've had. I didn't know who this person was, and yet I'm already apparently meant to be deciding on the responses. I'm like, hang on,
exactly.
I haven't heard like 10 words from this woman. Do I like her? Do I? I'm trying to ascertain the relationship just on the questions, but I also need to answer them in a positive or negative way that's going to lead me down a certain path. And I was like,
I think their friendship is purely platonic. I don't think there's. I think you're just choosing whether or not you get to make a joke about whether you want it to look pretty or.
That was
really?
that was how I kind of played it.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's clearly actually what it is. After you've been playing through it, seems to be that's the case. But yeah, at the beginning though, no idea.
Not entirely.
Yeah, you didn't know.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it feels like because they want you to get that they are really good mates. It's like, right, let's just get Safi to turn the banter meter all the way to full.
Yeah.
Can I ask something as well? I've only just remembered this. Did you know what that little half moon thing was?
No.
Showing up.
So even on my second playthrough, and we'll come to why I had to play it for a second time later on, I was like, okay, am I just being an idiot? And is there something on the screen I'm not pressing? I never worked out what it was either. I was like, this is a bad decision. Like I always thought it was like Paragon and like Eve. I wasn't sure if it was like one of them kind of things, but no, I just couldn't work it out.
I'm assuming this is to do with what happens at the end of this episode.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think it's connected.
But it's just weird to have that UI in now when we can't action it and don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Because because of what happens at the end, maybe certain bits.
I guess that does make sense. But I was just like,
I see.
Don't show me because I was like, why? Yeah.
But then I don't.
Yeah, that was really confusing.
Even if it does mean what I think it means, I don't know why it would be relevant to show it during conversations.
During those bits, yeah. I
don't know. We'll see.
So, okay. You first get you get your first look at the photo mode in the game, and your Max, and you slowly realise that you're in this abandoned alleyway, bowling alley.
Big old alleyway.
Down this bowling alley. And you're there to try and take a photograph for some sort of either art competition or class. I can't remember. There was a story behind it.
Because she's an artist in residence, isn't she? So.
Yeah, and I think I did sort of like that it's establishing that like she sort of found this as her thing as a photographer, is basically doing like urban exploration, breaking into like abandoned places, and that's sort of because this is like what 10 years after the original Life is Strange, I think.
I would as much as 10.
I think it is. Yeah, I'm sure.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like the whole way that you take photos, there was a disappointment in that. Photography is her life, and the way you take a photo in this is you zoom in a bit and press the camera button.
You don't even have to zoom in. Like you
No.
can just point it in the
Well, I
direction
know you
and
don't
press the button.
have to. I know you don't have to. But it would
Yeah.
have been nice to but you do zoom in though, right? You want to frame it correctly.
Yeah,
at
of
the
course
very
you do.
least.
But it's like,
No,
it's very...
James, do you? I have a feeling James was posting any old shit to his social
Yeah.
media in game.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to like position things correctly, rule the first, and James was like, "Fuck it, bang." I bet your social
it
media
doesn't
this
matter
game is
because
rubbish.
You get amazing feedback for
You
whatever
do
old
get
shit
loads
you
of
put up,
likes,
so it's
yeah.
fine.
Everyone loves
Great
it.
photo, Max.
I was going to
There's
say that
one-
maybe they did like experiment with like a more like fully featured photo mode, and people were just like, "Well, no, I don't. This isn't
Yeah,
why I play
maybe.
this. I just want to crack on with the story."
I don't think that. I don't think that happened. I reckon they thought, right, how do we do this as cheap as possible? I had a moment later where I'll explain. I'll talk about it now because we're talking about the photo mode. And I don't think I made a note about it. But you know when you're taking a photo of Safi on by the balcony.
Yes, outside.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like there's loads of times where she's just looking around, and
Yeah.
then at one point, just for a split second, she like looks and pulls her face at the camera.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I took a photo of that, and it posted to social media with the best photos are when they're not paying attention or something like that. And I was like, oh,
That's what I'm
this
saying.
doesn't
You
really
can put,
work
you
the
can
way
put
I
any old
took.
shit up there. They don't care.
I know, James. I know. Right. I pressed the left trigger. As I was walking around, I was like, do you do that in video games when you're playing a new video game? You're like, well, what do all these buttons do then? So you just start stabbing
yeah.
at
Stop
every
pressing
button
them
on the
to see-
pad.
Yeah.
So I pressed the left trigger at this point and joke. Max makes a joke that that rewind hasn't worked in years, and that's the trigger. That's the button you would press. Problem is that happened about 14 times, and even the characters started getting the ump with me. Look, we've been through this. I haven't got that anymore, Dave. Stop pressing the left trigger.
But it is only one line dialogue, isn't it? The same delivery.
No,
Oh, is it?
There's loads.
It felt like it's like I mean, Mel didn't press as much
No,
as you,
there's
but I was
loads
like,
of
this
them.
again. Okay, right.
Yeah. No, there's loads.
I probably learned the first time, but
I don't. I forget. It should be a crime to put a claw machine in a game and not have it playable. That really pissed me off.
yeah,
I
because
think
there's like a
contextually
vending
it makes
machine
sense.
next to that claw machine, isn't there? There's
Yeah.
there's a few machines in a row, almost like I was like, oh, what can I? No, nothing. Or a jukebox?
Nothing.
Maybe a jukebox there. Or-
Yeah, but specifically a claw machine. You know what I'm like. I fucking love a claw machine. And to go over to it and not have a prompt really pissed me off, actually. The bit with the bowling shoes just reminds me of when James and I went bowling with a friend.
Yeah, I know. It's a joke.
Do you remember that, James?
That was so good. I mean, that was yeah. So we
Right,
went
you
bowling.
know this story. Can I tell the story?
Yeah, go on, you tell it. Yeah, go on.
I'm sure you've heard this story before, Sean.
I don't think I have.
But a bunch of friends that knew each other via Xbox Live all met up one weekend. Where were we? Birmingham, was it?
It was Birmingham. Yeah, it was Birmingham.
Birmingham, yeah. And we saw them the night before, and we all had a good night or whatever. And then on the Saturday, we decided, let's go bowling. I don't know how it come up, but it wouldn't have been my choice, but whatever. Everyone agreed to go bowling. And this one guy that was there, he was there the whole time. It's a lovely fella, like, don't get me wrong, he's a really nice guy. And he was there with his girlfriend. And we were having a really good time. And then when we went to the bowling alley and we had to put those shoes on, right? This back in the old days, you don't need to do this anymore. But you had to put the bowling shoes on.
Wait, do you not have to do that anymore?
Not down here,
always.
you don't.
Yeah.
In none of the bowling alleys, they make you do that now. You just wear your normal trainers.
Yeah.
That is weird.
I think when I last went to Centre Parks, I guess last summer we had to have put the bowling shoes
Yeah,
on.
but that's Centre Parks. That's, you know
I
what
don't
I mean?
know.
Try and be fancy, don't they? Anyway, so we all put our shoes on the table to swap them for the bowling shoes, except for this one guy who we hadn't noticed had been wearing quite high cowboy boots.
Yeah, and also very elaborately designed.
The best ones are.
So, they've all had engravings all over them and that. And,
Yeah.
and
Oh shit!
so we all put like trainers on, and then these cowboy boots thudded down on the counter. And the woman that worked there sort of looked. Did she laugh?
She looked at them and
That's
looked at him,
unprofessional.
and it was. I don't think she laughed. I mean, yeah.
But me and you couldn't breathe for
I know.
about
I mean,
an hour.
I thought my head was going to cave in. I was laughing so much. It was terrible.
They even comment about the shoes and that, and I was like, James, man, I am right back in front of that counter now. And
That was
I'm
so
hearing that
good.
big thud on the
Yeah.
thing. Look over, fucking 2-inch hill on the bastards.
You can still find them.
Yeah, you can still find them.
Did anyone else? Max, I forget exactly what she says, but she does a play on the baby shoes never worn joke, meme, whatever.
No, what's that?
I can't remember exactly what she said.
She
You
does
never
say
seen that before?
something like that.
Yeah,
but what is that from? I did recognise it, but I couldn't pin it. She does say that.
Wasn't it? It's like one of those 2-sentence short stories or something, and it was just
Yeah,
like-
is it
right,
like scary? Yeah, no
yeah, and
sleep.
it's like
Reddit,
for sale
scary,
baby
yeah.
shoes never worn, right? It's just,
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought, it's a bit off colour that Max sort of referenced that, but whatever.
Yeah, that is a bit dark, isn't it?
Well, the edgy. How old are they supposed to be? Because I know they're in college,
32.
right? They're in college. They're drinking, aren't they? They're drinking.
They got. I thought.
Well,
I
they're
thought
not in
late
college.
20s.
Max, she's a photographer in residence. She's basically one of the lecturers.
Right,
That's,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So I figured that she was like late 20s.
I think she's late
like,
20s, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just mid-20s. But
I couldn't work out like her age, and also felt like the other person she was with was like Safi. It was like she felt much older than Max. I guess maybe because I'm just like used to Max
I think
being
it's
at
the
younger
other
age.
way around.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I was like, what's the age difference here? I don't just both
if you're
mates
listening
on the same-
to this, if you made this game, you listen to this, please just at the start have someone sit down at a desk, look directly at the camera, and say, right, just let you know, Max is 26 now, and the person she's with, you'll find out more about her
that
later.
would be nice. Would be
She's
nice.
23. All right, okay. Stop pressing the left trigger because it doesn't work in this one. They were a little bit too excited about that shit solar system decoration one day. They were like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
There was that.
look
Did
at
you?
that!"
Are we past the bottles gag as well? Did you hear
What
that?
was the bottles gag?
You know when she does the whole thing where she climbs up, like around the back and then goes across to where there's the balcony, and then first sees it, but then in that room there's like a whole stack of bottles, and then she makes like a joke oh who would make somebody like collect all of those or whatever, because it's from the first Life is Strange game. When you had to do that.
No, I
in-
didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Oh, good callback. I just thought it was a
Right,
shit
so I've
gag.
just checked. She is 28 in this.
Oh, right, okay, fine.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, right. So they were too excited about that shit solar system decoration. It didn't look that good. I don't know why they thought it was the most beautiful.
No, because it
thing
tells
they've
the story
ever
of loneliness, David. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. If you're a photographer,
seen. Is
you
it?
can understand.
How?
Sorry, go on.
Is that not what? Is that what her whole thesis was like? She wants like photos that tell a story about is it being lonely or being in like a unique environment on your own. I'm sure that's what she wanted all her pictures to tell the story of.
What a unique idea for photography.
Safi's 25. So Max is a little bit
Okay. Sean's been on their Facebook pages. Cheers, Sean.
on the wikis, mate.
On the what's that on the social network in this game? Like Clickface or something.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you get to take a bowling mascot toy because I'm trying to interact with everything, and when I saw one of those, I was like, "You best be able to pick one of those up and put them in your pocket."
Yeah.
And you can.
Yep.
Great. Right. Okay. With the shoes shelf and the solar system thing falling, this episode is pure casualty. I mean. It did look like something really bad was going to happen.
It looks like
It just
tragedy
doesn't.
was about to hit.
And it nearly does.
Yeah.
It
'Cause
nearly
the
does.
thing
Yeah.
fucking falls down,
It
doesn't
falls. You take a photo of it. You get a flashback from Life is Strange 1, if I remember at this point.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those like throughout this whole episode where they keep doing little flashbacks and little sort of like voiceovers and stuff.
So this is the bit where you're essentially telling the game what you did at the end of Life is Strange Season 1. If you don't want to know what happens at the end of it, I mean,
Well, this is
you're
when you
mad
get to
be
the
playing as
bar,
well,
right? You get to the bar first, and then there's the
Yes,
conversation
so
with Safi.
you're having a conversation at the table with Safi, and I did not appreciate Safi talking about Chloe at all. I was like, step back.
Yeah, get her name out of your mouth right
Do
now.
not
Frankly,
talk about Chloe.
you don't
right
know
now.
what it was like. You weren't there.
So it's here. I didn't even pick up that it was a choice because it was so natural to me. Like I told Safi that she'd died, and I assume this was a "what choice did you make" thing, and it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt, do you want to explain what you did
Well,
for some reason?
I was just, I just kind of forgot. I knew like the main.
Sorry.
I knew basically at the end of like Life is Strange, I was like town blow up on town not blow up, right? But I'm like, oh,
That's it.
I was like, they broke up. Did they break up because the town blew up? I couldn't remember. Anyway, I think I just chose like
but
broke
that was
up.
the whole point, though.
Look, I told you my memory's bad.
No, but town didn't blow up, but Chloe blew up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I think I just chose breakup because I thought, well, anyway, I got confused. I chose that, and I was like, I think I've done the wrong one here
So
because
what's the peril? What's the peril with saving or losing
So
the town at
first-
the episode of Life is Strange season 1, Matt?
I couldn't tell you.
What's the
It's basically
downside? Who
well,
would think the town blew up if
Well,
it wasn't for?
First of
Go
all,
on.
you get to
well,
say...
it was obviously town or Chloe. I got that, but like,
I mean, also, Matt, you guys have been ripping into me for years about the decision I made in this.
yeah, no,
game.
because I still think it's a stupid decision. But the way this was framed, I was like, oh, did we break up or?
So
Anyway,
before that, so you get to choose whether Chloe was like a
Romantically tied.
romantic
Yes.
partner or just a good mate.
Yeah.
Which I don't think makes any difference to anything that
It
happens
doesn't
in this
matter.
game. I think
Oh,
it's
it
just
does.
for you to.
Oh, it
does
does.
it? Okay, all right.
Does it? What are you talking
yeah.
about?
I'll explain because I've had quite a different experience in this chapter. I think than you.
Well, no, but,
because of the
then
decisions
then
made.
you choose whether or not you saved Chloe, right?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. You're talking about something
Yeah.
different.
Oh,
I
I
think.
thought you meant later on. Like no, because in
No,
in
no,
this,
no, no.
Don't you get asked also what kind of relationship you had with Chloe?
That's what I
oh,
just said, James.
Yes, and
You
then I'm
would've-
saying it. Then that's exactly that's what I'm saying. But then the choice that I made then affected this episode. It wasn't just the fact
wow.
of.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you stop having a go at me before you just before you even explain?
It
Like,
just
what's-
sounded like you got confused.
It did sound like you got confused.
Well, I hadn't.
Okay.
Okay.
So first you say whether or not you were just mates with Chloe or if it was a romantic relationship, and then you say what the choice you made at the end of Life is Strange. Now, what the community did not like about this was that there was no "yes, I saved Chloe and we are still together" option. Like, she's out of the picture no matter what. Personally, I feel like it makes sense because I don't believe a relationship built on sacrificing an entire town that's not a very solid foundation for a romantic relationship, if you ask me. But I mean, and to be clear, so myself, Matt, and Dave, we all saved the town and we let Chloe die. James,
Yeah. James destroyed the town.
I destroyed the town because fuck those guys. And it's just
fucking entire population, entire town
yeah.
for just one gal.
But it did mean that I had a quite an interesting experience with this
I'm
episode.
interested.
well, I was going to say,
Yeah, exactly. Like,
for the sake of this spoilercast, like we are going to benefit from this. So yeah, we appreciate it.
But
Well,
yeah,
those people throwing like red
I have
paint
to
over
think
you in
about-
the episode, James.
I
Well,
have to think about Chloe in yours. So if you were in a relationship with Chloe and you did sacrifice the town for her, it should be like, well, I've got. What if I what if we go on like the same shows later? Like what?
Yeah, it's big.
I've got to stay with you now because you.
Yeah.
Or, you remember that? Get into an argument, and then Matt's going, Chloe
Yeah, what did I do for you? What did I?
20,000 people
It's-
are
it-
dead.
Yeah.
killed
It
all
brings-
those people.
It
didn't
brings
I,
a lot
for
of
you?
this up, actually.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's good.
Excellent.
Guilt
I'm
tripping.
sort of happy if it basically bollocks everyone who picked the other end.
yeah. Okay, right.
But yeah, I definitely chose romantic relationship because imagine like denying that as well. Like no, just mates, just mates.
No, I think the whole point of the original Life is Strange is that you could sort of read into it what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
There was no
Yeah, I right way and the
canonical-
wrong way.
I think you can just be very good mates.
Come on, they
Yes,
were clearly
we were
more.
very good friends in mine, I think, because I kissed the kid, the
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
You kissed everyone, David.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why
a-
it's such a weird episode for you.
I'm a lover, mate. Right. So then the game sort of, I don't know how I feel about this, but then the game goes, "Hey, look at the barmaid over there. I reckon you should be romantically involved with this barmaid." And
You're over Chloe, aren't you?
yeah,
It's been 10
well,
years.
I don't think she knows about what happened to Chloe yet. That comes
No,
later.
no.
But she's like, "Oh,
No, she
look."
does because you tell her.
Yeah, you tell her.
Yeah.
Oh, do I say?
Yeah,
it
this
was
is-
like,
this
it's like,
you
yeah, she was my
tell
best
her.
mate, and she got
Oh,
fucking
that's
shot.
right. Yeah, so she's like, "Okay, well, forget her. Look, You know,
Let's move
check
on.
out the bar staff
Let's
here.
live in the now. Go
So
and
I
seduce
sort of
the
said,
barmaid.
yeah, I sort of said, look, I'm not interested,
Yeah.
and the game was like, look, yeah, you are.
Yeah,
It's
you are.
like- it's one of
You
those
are.
ones
I
where it's
wondered
like-
that, because I said I was interested, and then obviously the next half an hour was hinged on me being interested. So I was like, well, there's no way I was getting out of
Yeah,
this.
we just sat at the bar, just like, okay, fine. What time's the
See,
next train?
I
It
also
was like
said
the
I wasn't
developers went,
interested. Yeah.
No, don't press the
Yeah.
press the interested button.
You went to press it,
Are
and
you
the on-screen thing was moving around.
Yeah,
I can't even
moved over.
catch the button around the screen.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I said I wasn't interested, and then did everything I could to sabotage it as much as
Oh,
possible.
wow.
But
So
then
mean.
But then it still worked out, like in a way as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So mean. Such a Lothario.
Meeting two new characters. I mean, I say this later. I hated this scene. I hated it. And I was
Yeah.
really, really worried about where the game was going during this scene, because this is where I met Reggie and Diamond. I already think Reggie did it, and I don't even know what that is yet. I have not.
Is that the couple drinking where one of them
Yeah.
smashes a glass?
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Like, did it
then you
bother
get-
anyone else that, like, I feel like this sort of came in with, like, right, Max is a grown adult. She's a fucking successful professional. Like, she's doing all right. And then suddenly it's just like, oh, I have to adult now. Like,
Yeah,
I
gotta
was
sweep
like, oh,
up.
Come on.
Yeah.
We'll
Like,
get to that.
Yeah, go on.
That's a little bit later, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a little bit like, oh, she's supposed to be a lot older now and a lot wiser, but we're still playing the Max from season one.
Yeah,
she's still a teenager.
See that?
basically.
And that was how I felt a lot about a lot of the dialogue as well. Honestly, like there was a lot of it where I just thought this is like the turn of
Well,
phrase
yeah,
is
but-
really annoying, and it's like before, like Chloe had an excuse. She was a teenager, like speaking like that, whereas these people, I don't know what their excuse is. If they just,
Definitely in this scene, I think it improves dramatically
Yes.
from here.
Yeah.
Like, I think this scene is very, very poor and poorly written. I don't like the characters, and then I was really worried. And not to spoil,
And I
where
think, like, just giving you like a little fetch quest so soon as well just didn't really
not a great
appreciate
intro,
as
is
well.
it? Yeah. You get to make a vote. Don't you vote on like a meal of the week or something? And it's
Oh,
clam
yeah.
chowder or peanut soup.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't know if I
Fuck
did that
me.
one. I did the pickup lines.
I put
did
fuck
other
me.
things.
This is like a really early round of the Gotti show. Clam chowder or peanut soup.
I'm not sure I
Who
did that.
cares? Let's move on.
I saw the family photo. I looked at like what her favorite like beers were, or what recommendation, what beers on the bar. I got pickup lines from everyone, and I got on the board for the pickup lines. I don't know about voting for food. I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, so these next 2 points we've discussed before, but there's a lot of music being used here to quite an elevated level. Like, it feels like it's not environmental music anymore, and it is just a soundtrack being laid over the top. Not sure how I feel about that. I'm not against it. Music's always been really important in Life is Strange games. I just think they made a really good effort of editing in soundtrack when it needed to be edited in, and making it environmental when it needed to be environmental. And here it felt like it was like just lay the music over the top, and it felt touch lazy, I think.
But that made
And
sense
I
in the
was-
bar.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the bar. It was layered over the, so wherever you were in the bar, it was the same. Like, it was at the same level. It
It's
was
clearly
at
there
an
is supposed to be
elevated
music playing in the bar, but it sounds non-diegetic. It sounds like
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right, yeah. And then I've just mentioned here, I didn't know I'd made a note about this, but I'll be honest here, I'm not sure what those blue moon shaped things are next to everything. Okay, let's discuss that. I said, right, so this is my summary of this scene. And the scene's not over yet. We've still got stuff to talk about in this scene, but I've put this opening scene in the bar isn't great. I'm cringing a bit at how forced everything is with the new friends, with the bar staff. Also, come here, my little sharp friends. Awful line.
Sharp little guys, I think it was, but yeah, still.
Yeah.
I think, okay, I thought I wrote that down word for word after it happened. In
I mean, they're all bad. All the variants are bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it's totally right. Like it feels like she's still written in the way the age that she was in Life is Strange 1. I would not have like classed as a 28-year-old. You said 28, didn't you, Sean?
Yeah,
28 at all.
Yeah.
In many ways, she's still the same kind of young teenager she was in the first game. It's kind of weird, really.
So,
Also,
so the whole
as an artist in residence stroke lecturer, should she be hanging around in the bar with all the students?
Well,
Here comes James, the professor, to say I did the same.
no, you get.
You spiky little guys.
Some people do that, like especially like that level. Like if you're like artist in residence or something like that, I'd imagine this is probably like similar to like postdoc or something like that.
Right.
That's kind of understandable because you're only just like graduated and you're still like part of that.
I've got about 14 lines in my head that I'm not going to say. So the whole idea of this scene is that you're gathering information on Amanda. It's a bit creepy. You're gathering information on Amanda so you can talk to her and ask her out on a date or, to go meet up or whatever.
And never mind the fact that like she fucking sniffs you out immediately because you'd be like, oh, so apparently you like this band, and she's like, oh yeah, do you? And you're like, no.
Well, no, you can say yes or no, right? But I said no because I wasn't going to lie.
No as well.
I also said no.
Yeah.
And
she was like, okay, that makes sense because you're not from around here. But I didn't want to say yes, and she's like, okay, name an album. Like,
should Tim Lovejoy you?
Yeah.
Or, no, what is it? Who's the guy from The Office that did it to Tim Lovejoy? No,
it was
you
Martin
the
Freeman,
Ramones,
wasn't it?
Yeah, Martin Freeman.
yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the worst.
Yeah. So
things
right.
I've seen on television.
So we all said no. We don't actually know the band. Yeah.
I can't believe after the break he started listing Ramones songs. After the break, he's blatantly looked it up. Oh, it's the worst bit of TV ever. That, but I admitted that I had no idea who Misery Cults were, or whatever that band was called. And then I put, actually, I've got time for Amanda. She's charmed me. I don't know what changed my mind there. She's not a bad person.
She recommended a great IPA. Did any of your chat uplines get on the board or?
Yes, mine
recommended.
I can't remember which one I chose.
I think I went one. I think I chose one about campfire. Something about s'more.
Oh yeah, you want
probably.
s'more? Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get mine on.
No,
on the board.
mine sank really badly.
Really?
And I chose for our meetup to be a date thing in the end.
Same.
After all that, so we all went on a date, did we? Did we all choose date?
Well,
date thing or friend thing? I chose
you
date
choose
thing. Yeah.
Date, you don't go on a date, do you?
No, you don't, because things happen.
Yeah. Events.
Right. Now, we've been pretty negative for the first half an hour, I think, and we've been a bit picky. The picky stuff, sometimes it's more fun to just pick games apart and stuff. We don't mean to be negative, but I think it was kind of a poor start to episode 1, and I was worried. This next scene I absolutely loved, and this scene was on the rooftop during a meteor shower where you're meeting what's your friend's name in this?
Moses.
Is it Moses? Yeah.
Moses, yeah.
Moses, yeah. You meet Moses.
Safi.
I love Moses as a character. Safi is more realistic and more interesting throughout the scene.
When you pick in the mugs and he just completely flat just goes like, mine says world's horniest grandma.
I love that stuff. I said, what mug did you pick? Does anyone remember?
I went for the toilet one.
Yeah, I chose toilet.
Yeah.
I went nerdy and dirty.
Yeah, I think I also did the same. Yeah.
And I cannot believe that after we did this, it come up with this decision will have consequences. Or whatever.
Yeah, because it mentions. So I should say, when we've done Spoilercast in the past, I usually make a note of all like the percentages and all the decisions.
Right.
When I got to the end of this, I was a bit like, I'm not writing any of these down.
Yeah, I took a picture as like I would normally do, but there were loads, and also I mean, we'll come back to it, but I sure when I took a picture, it wasn't like friends or the world. It's just basically like you and they remove one of the options, which is a bit annoying.
I don't think it does friends anymore, does it? Probably because Life is Strange 2. It was like, oh yeah, it's me and 2 other people.
Yeah. So it doesn't say at all. It literally just says like, here's the percentages. It doesn't say who did what. I assume it is just global. But I took a picture of all that. There's like 7 screens of multiple decisions. But
and it was just loads of it. I was like, well, thanks for recording that, but I cannot imagine it's going to affect anything going forward. But
well, I don't know. I mean, like, us choosing, was it the hot chocolate poop like toilet? Well, I think it was a hot chocolate one, wasn't it? So hopefully that has massive ramifications at the end.
Nerdy and dirty, baby.
I didn't choose that because Max just felt young, even though she's not. I don't know. Just like that didn't feel right for me.
All right.
I just didn't like it.
All right.
The whole Max thing is just confusing.
30.
I know, but like, I don't know. I don't think she doesn't give off that kind of vibe.
Okay.
I think that's in your head,
right.
Matt.
yeah.
I thought
no,
making
No, to be fair to Matt, this is a character that we all experienced a story with her as basically a child, right? And in which she ends up in some
Right.
shitty situations. So I can understand why to sort of see her as like a sexual object is like.
But I
ugh.
don't. It's
But-
just
but no,
nerdy
but
and
it's not-
dirty as
yeah,
fuck.
but
it's not even
What's
that, it's
got
just-
to do with anything.
It's not even that. It's just like her character doesn't seem any different to how it was back then.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that she asked for an IPA recommendation.
Yeah. So you saw her more of as a fucking toilet then, did you, Sean? Is that
I
what
just
we're
thought it
going
was
with?
funny.
Yeah, it was the funniest mug.
The other thing that I really liked about Moses was when you take a photo of him and you're getting him to pose, and he is so incredibly awkward. Like this bit was genuinely really well done. It was perfect. You know, turning around and Moses, oh, if you just sit down, and he sort of sits down really awkwardly and looks around. And I just thought, whoever has done this, what a job they've done of making a character look naturally nervous and awkward
Well, 'cause
during
I
a
did-
pose. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, because I did wonder if, I mean, it hasn't stated either way. I did wonder if he was sort of supposed to be presenting as neurodivergent in some way. But I think if he is, I think it's been very subtly done. It's not like, do you know what I mean? I think they've done a good
Yeah.
job of it if that was the intention.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I just really like the character. I'm looking forward to where they go with Moses. Right, this rooftop. I've just put this rooftop scene is insanely better than the one in the bar. Hiding a bottle cap. So Moses, you find out Safi's got a secret, and you want to know Safi's secret. And Moses gives you a little tip that, hey, we've got this thing where if you slip the bottle cap into their hand, like do it in a surprising way, they have to tell you the truth on something. Or something like that, isn't it?
Although
Yeah, or hide it on their person.
Basically.
Yeah. Which is-
What did you all do?
I put it in the pack of sweets.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
Where else? Well, I wonder where else can you hide it.
Same.
But yeah, sweet.
Rachel-
The bum.
Rachel put
Oh.
them in the pack of cigarettes. And,
You could-
Good
oh,
shout,
really?
mate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I went
I
over
wish
to
there was
that,
an
but
option to do that. What's that behind your ear?
Yeah.
That would be great.
I think I went to look at cigarettes, but for whatever reason it wasn't an option. But anyway, I found the sweets, and it was way.
Well,
better.
yeah, sweets seemed like the ideal one because the other options were like put it in a snowball and throw it at her or something. And I was like, well, that's way too hard.
Bottle cap, yeah.
Probably
And
fucking cut her
dangerous.
face if you're not careful. And then the cigarettes was like, well, she's fucking stood right there, so this isn't going to be very subtle. So yeah, the sweets seemed like the right decision.
It felt a bit toxic to me, frankly. I mean, I'm not
Yes.
coming off with a big Max fan. So she says she got a secret, she doesn't want to tell you.
Yeah.
How about we find a way to manipulate the way you answer out your
Yeah.
friends? Like,
Do
Yeah,
some
but the
good,
worst
just
thing is-
respect her wishes, and she'll tell you in her own time, maybe.
She
I don't
gets
know.
a comeuppance though because the secret is shit, and then you've got to really reveal your secret. So it's
Oh
like
really?
it's an
Oh, okay,
absolute-
so I didn't know. Right, so when I got the chance to get the secret out of her, I said, "Look, no, don't worry about it."
Oh, so
Yeah.
you don't know what the secret is?
No,
I,
what's
no,
the
I
secret?
was just like, no, yeah, go on, give it up. Tell me what it is.
Most disappointing secret ever.
Yeah, it's
I-
rubbish.
She's been like, get this. I'm thinking I'm gonna find out something big here, and then I don't mind telling her secrets about myself. So this is a real big moment here. And she goes, "Oh, book publishers made me an offer for some of my poetry."
See, I assumed that's what it was anyway.
Yeah, her manuscript.
Like,
it was basically
Something
just
crap.
like I might have a book contract.
Yeah,
Right.
might.
Like-
Yeah, there's nothing that was confirmed. It was a might. And it's
We've
not a
all
secret,
been
it's
there.
fine.
You know, it's like-
Yeah, relatable.
Right, so my next two notes say I took a photo of the moon, then got a headache. Now the owl photo gave me a headache. I should probably stop taking photos, really, because this is the whole way the powers are starting to build up
Yeah,
inside
powers coming
Max
back,
stuff.
baby.
And it's like, all right, okay, we got to go through this. It's fine.
Yeah.
There are a few clues to something bad happening here. The photos, the bottle cap. Oh, I was trying to piece together. I was like, oh, what's going on? So is she gonna choke on a bottle cap, or is it gonna
Choke on a sweet?
no, it's
Because,
not
like we
what
should
it
say,
is.
like obviously we know from all the publicity around the game that something happens to Safi. We didn't know exactly
Yeah.
what, but we knew she was moided. So obviously you're waiting for it to happen, right? And it's
I wasn't actually because I hadn't watched any trailers because
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't need to. So I was like, "Oh, what's happening here?"
Well, it's
You
interesting
watch the
'cause
trailers, like I mean, we've got video evidence of you watching the trailers, Matt. So
Well, okay, again, my memory's really bad. So if it happens,
what is interesting, and
it was a surprise to me.
This is jumping ahead a little bit, but in the like the spiel for the game, it's like Safi is murdered, and and it says like, and Max tries to use her time rewind powers, but instead it does this other thing, and it's like that's not how it plays out at all. That's just not true. So I don't know why it says that. Anyway.
Okay. So Safi goes missing, and why have I changed her name midway through my notes? I've changed.
Is
it
it
from
an
Safi to
autocorrect?
Sophie.
Autocorrect? Were your voice dictating it? Steve goes missing.
Oh, there she is, fine, stumbling around at the top of the cliff. Let's go home, Max.
Yeah, bye.
And then I put, then you hear gunshot and walk up, and she's dead. Yep, she is dead there.
Isn't she like she's on the phone and it sounds like she's having a slightly angry conversation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when she first picked up the phone, she's like, "Okay, I better go somewhere else to have a conversation." So like when I mean, we might get into this, but Moses is like, we let her go off into the night. Well, it wasn't like at the end of the night, oh yeah, I'll see you later, and you just like let your friend go off and just hope they get home. Like she was on the phone. Walking around.
Also, Moses, we're all in our 20s. We're not 8, so that's fine. She can go.
She's
off
allowed a
into the
phone
night
call.
Make a point that because they're on obviously this huge campus and it appears to be the poshest, safest place in the world, which is
whereas we're soon finding out everywhere that is not the case, isn't it? Right there. Where were we? Hear the gunshot. What is going on here? Photos on the wall. She seems to have gotten over Safi's death pretty quickly. This bit.
Sorry, no. Just before we get to that. So she gets shot. So you go over there. She's like sat still on the bench. You look at her. She's been shot. She falls down. And the way Moses comes over to you, almost like, "Oh no, I didn't do it. I didn't do it." It almost feels like
he's out of the picture for a bit, and then he's suddenly in the picture. And I think that's probably a really poor red herring.
Possibly, but I was like, "Oh, he's suddenly there," and then he's looking at me, almost like, "Did you do this, Max?" Oh, no, I didn't do it. I just saw it like this.
If Moses turns out to be the shooter in this, I'm going to be pissed off.
No,
I'll say that now.
He had nothing to do with it.
I don't think he had anything to do with it, but it would have been it's so shit if it is. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but anyway, there's this right. Okay, let's address this now. The rest of
Max has got an amazing house. Okay,
Max has got an amazing house, absolutely. But the rest of the game, she doesn't actually seem that bummed out, and I cannot believe it's only 2 days after.
It's strange, isn't it? Because we blink through, like it's very clear that the time, little sort of 2-day time skip. She's clearly just been in bed, very depressed the entire time, which is fair enough.
Yeah, because there's tissues and videos everywhere, so that's
it did annoy me a bit that it's like, oh, by the way, you haven't replied to anyone's fucking texts.
Yeah.
And like,
especially,
I don't know. Obviously, everyone processes grief differently.
Yeah.
It just annoyed me that decision was completely taken away from us.
Yeah. Especially the fact that she'd ignored Safi's mum as well.
Yeah, and also Moses. She hadn't messaged Moses.
The guy who was there,
later on you say, "Oh, sorry for not talking to you." Yeah. Fucking hell! Like both of you should have done something to check in, given what you've been through together.
At least reply saying, I need to be on my own.
Yeah. It's but we're just arseholes for not responding to all the messages or this and that. And I don't know. I do.
But also, I cannot believe how she's just cracking wise around her flat 2 days after she's been very close to a murder of someone.
I guess. I mean, again, people.
It's the tone, Sean. It's not
she's hella distraught, David. She's hella distraught.
Very strange.
No, it is weird. It's just very difficult to get a read on how Max feels at all, I think, is the issue.
Yes, I think that's the issue, for sure. And then I've put, oh my God, this was only 2 days later. Seems like it should have been longer. My word, Amanda is giving me the cold shoulder 2 days after my mate died. I can't remember.
That's sort of fair enough, though, right? I think that's the emotionally responsible thing to do.
I was quite cool with that decision. When she was just like, "Yeah, I think this is not the right time," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. This is totally
obviously, part of me is like, right, so it made no difference whether I thought I was into her or not, or whether I was able to ask her out or not. Like, this is them just cutting that line of inquiry off right now.
But I kind of so. Yeah, I think I don't know how the conversation goes exactly, but I think Safi, Amanda calls you a friend, and then Max is like friend, and then Amanda's like, well, no, obviously, given everything you're going through, I don't think it's the right time. But I kind of want a third option, saying, well, obviously it's not the right time now, but is this no forever? But it was just like,
I think, isn't there don't you get an option to say like, oh no, I can work through this, don't worry. But I think
I can work through this means like I want it now. I kind of want to say, look, not now because I am busy. you know, watching his horror movies. Maybe another time later, but it's just basically like, yeah. So all of us said, no, now's not the right time.
Yeah, I said that as well. I said, look, I agreed because it is a bit too much, really, isn't it? So there's too much
it shows
going
the maturity. It is good.
And it's cool. Yeah, and she's showing up as a mate anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Do you take a photo of Amanda here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do,
yeah.
And then
Which-
I said she clearly hated it because she went, no, take another.
This was
Straight away,
this
as
was
well.
the weird. This was actually a tonally really weird bit because she does that and it's all right. Okay, let's do it like a kind of a sexy.
Yeah, let's do a
one and
funny
stuff.
one.
I mean,
Well, it's
just
not a
like-
sexy one. It's a goofy one, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
you're
like,
just like this doesn't feel appropriate.
Yeah.
at this moment.
yeah, it's like, how about? Well, I guess. Well, she hands you the camera, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So look, like, it's been 2 days, mate. Get over it. Let's see the old Max.
I sort of get it in that it's Amanda being like, I understand that this is how you communicate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is your art form. This is your chosen field, etc. But yeah, it does feel weird. I was quite pleased with. I did because you can make her do poses or whatever. And this is where you can first do the double.
This is where
exposure
DLC
thing.
comes in.
And,
Oh,
yeah,
I
so I
didn't know you
managed
could
using
do
the double
this.
exposure thing. So I did one where she was just kind of looking quite serious and sort of looking away from the camera, and then double exposed it with one where she was being stupid. And I just thought I was quite good.
Oh, well, good for
Yeah,
you.
I used a double exposure,
I
but
didn't even realise that was a button that I could
yeah,
press.
I think I'm sure I said like, press it again, and I did a different pose, but it wasn't as poetic as Sean's. I mean, like, she brought around, like, I mean, really lovely for her to bring food around. You know, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, okay, look, friends round, I'm upset, let's just eat shit. She's like, focaccia and salad. I'm like, well, that
Yeah.
is lovely, but I really,
I'd be a bit
really
like,
kind
yeah,
of wanted a burger.
Yeah.
I think a burger really helped me out right
gone
now.
to Mackey's on the way.
Yeah, burger and a beer, lovely. Focaccia and salad, this is not the time for that. But I did appreciate it.
Yeah.
I put okay. So then you get the call from Yasmin.
Hang on. Because I don't know. This is probably where maybe my game was different to yours.
Okay,
At
let's
this
go.
point, because there's
Okay, let's go.
there's the whole section where you had to tidy up obviously before
Yes.
Amanda comes over. Did you come across the whole? Did you have the journal between Chloe and Max?
Yeah.
I saw photos. Maybe.
It wasn't a journal between Chloe and Max. It was just a journal from Max writing about Chloe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in my one, it's like it was a journal which was basically like their continued relationship and like
Okay.
what has happened to them after like Arcadia Bay.
Well,
And
what
there's
happened?
there's also I mean
Lots of guilt, I assume.
they basically they drift apart is what happens, and there's a massive thing about like the tension over that decision like throughout like the whole thing. And if you start, because there's also on your phone there's text messages
Yeah,
between
yeah,
you
yeah.
and Chloe as well.
I scrolled back and read all them. Yeah,
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 I
and it's basically like, you know, it's horrendous because you look at it, you're like, yeah, it is that is an awful decision to make because she's basically like, you know, like, yeah, like my
We've been spending years telling you it's an
I
awful.
know, but I'm only fucking around, aren't I? It's like, but then also,
seemed pretty serious to me.
but then like there's this whole thing where they talk about how, you know, like Chloe's sort of like, you know, my parents are dead, you know, they're gone, and it's like, you know, you did this for me, but at what price? And it goes through all of the, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And there's all these like horrible sketches as well, like where they're obviously having like terrible arguments and stuff like that. And it really, they do a massive job of trying to make you feel bad for letting Chloe live. It's like,
Good.
this was clearly the wrong decision. Their relationship was doomed, and it ended on a whim. Is basically what it was, and it was a total waste of time. And I think this is maybe why some people like online and stuff have been annoyed about this as well, because when you like read through it, like I think people probably thought, oh, they'll go off like happily ever after kind of thing. And this makes it very clear that that is absolutely not like what didn't happen if you choose that option.
But that, like, it's this is why I thought that decision was so easy, because she was begging you not to do it at the time. Like she was saying, please do not. I'm destined to die. Like this is what is supposed to happen, and you're fucking around with things too much, and it's destroying the world. And you went, nah.
See, that's the thing. You see,
Still doing it, babe.
I chose that decision because you see, normally I would have gone with the same decision that you guys went with, but I don't know what it was in that game. Just like flicked at me, and I was just like, "Fuck you!" Like this, game for trying to guilt me into like choosing like the right option. I'm going to choose this one, And
now the game's going, fuck you, James,
Yeah.
for trying
Yeah,
to
for
fuck
choosing,
us.
choosing the wrong one.
But I mean, also the
Um,
other thing that you get, like because if you read through the messages with her parents as well, and it seems like the relationship with them is really strained as well,
Yes.
because of Arcadia Bay as well. Like that's
Well, that was the same in mine. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
really?
just
Okay.
barely
Yeah.
talking to her parents anymore, which I thought was
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah, parents were sending loads of messages saying, how you doing? And it was, it's the anniversary of, that time. And they're just like, yeah, I'm all right. And then nothing for like ages. And
Yeah, but again,
Yeah.
just flat out ignoring them. Like parents just sending her loads of nice messages, and she just does not speak to them.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what that was about because I thought it was basically like in the first Life is Strange, she had a pretty good relationship with her parents, or at least with her dad. I seem to remember there was like emails from like supportive emails from her dad and stuff.
Maybe
Yeah.
she's just got notifications switched off, and this is why it's like she's not
she's
replying to anyone.
busy. She's, taking
Speaking of
pictures. She's,
experience.
yeah, she's,
So,
all that stuff.
yeah,
She
no,
loves
I thought that
listen to
was-
Death Cult. She's
Yeah,
nice.
I just thought that was strange.
Okay, so you then get a call from Yasmin, Safi's mum, and off you go to walking around the campus. You live in the campus,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
what
that's
campus
what it
is, isn't it?
right?
It's the whole like a proper camp. I mean, I didn't go to a campus university. I gather it's fucking mad in that it's just this whole little fucking town in like by itself. I don't know if that's.
Sounds like just a really awful community. Could you imagine if you worked with everyone in your town? Fuck that. Okay, I help crack the bookcase. What?
Oh yeah. So basically, you go into the library and you meet a woman.
Well,
I
hang
can't
on, we're
remember-
skipping the puzzle box, and I used
Yeah,
the
the
word
puzzle
puzzle
box.
loosely.
Oh yes, that
Yeah.
puzzle box. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
Just
Even
click
I
on the
got that
series
one.
of things that you
Yeah.
can click on.
Yeah. I'll tell you why, because this was with the dude. Was it from?
Yeah,
bar.
from the bar, the guy dropped.
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
so,
who's in that weird cult type thing, isn't he? Like, well, what's he in?
I feel like that's already been set up to be a big red herring. Was it Abraxas?
Yes. Praxis, yeah.
Yeah, it's some sort of shadowy organisation.
Shadow, yeah, that's
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Oh god, here we
Shitty
go.
sort of
We-
frat
yeah.
or something
Are
like
we going to look back on this and go, no, David, stop saying stuff like that because that's the rest of the game. Okay.
But yes,
sorry,
you
yeah.
see him, he's got the box, he's really animated, and he's like, oh, like this stupid box, I can't open it. But it's just really,
How
he's just
can
so
we not
animated.
open that box?
I know, it's like, mate, look at it
Fucking
and
obvious.
press some buttons.
Mate,
Bird
there's a
on
big
shoulder.
white bit of text and an arrow
Yeah.
pointing away what you're supposed to press. Have a word.
And you open it, a smaller box comes out, and I hope we will do more of them.
I'm sure
Hey,
we
you
will.
like puzzles like this, don't you, Matt?
Like a little
Nice and
simple puzzle,
easy.
yeah.
Bit of the
I
room.
know it took me 8 hours on that, but I was worth it. FAQs a lot. I got through it.
Okay, so so you go into the library. I help crack the bookcase. I'm skipping over a lot of stuff here because I don't think much of it was that interesting. I mean,
You just
okay.
explore the campus and nothing much
Yeah.
happens, does it? Really?
Nothing much
You
happens.
talk to that, is it Vin?
Yeah, Vin on the desk, and he
He's
says,
weird.
yes,
Yeah.
he's
Is it-
very, but he's also part of that same thing, isn't he?
He's a
about
love
the cult
interest.
thing, yeah. Is he fucking love interest?
Yeah, he's another.
Yeah.
No way is, I was like, fuck that guy.
It's like, yeah,
No
it,
way.
was-
no.
it seemed to be, plenty of opportunities to.
Yeah, I think it says at the decisions at the end. It says something like you
flirted.
showed
with
an
him.
interest in
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
flirted
Oh, I
with
didn't get
someone,
that.
yeah.
I mean, I collected his package.
I don't know, sure.
So did you go and get his package from the post room?
I did.
I did.
So
His
like,
package boy.
you fucking hell, Jay. But you then have the option to keep it or give it back to him. And I was like, well, I could have
you?
kept it. No, I think you don't have to give it to him. You can keep it. I think. And I gave it to him because I thought he might help me later on.
Yeah.
I gave it to him because I'm not a little thief. Max is a little thief in my game.
The right thing to do. But yeah, so you also get the book for what's her name? I've forgotten.
I've got
other-
her
the
name
other
here. Hold on, wait,
lecturer.
we're jumping ahead
It's
a little
not
bit. Is there any reason why she may have? I said no because. Right. Okay. This is it. So, I'm at the point where I'm having a conversation with, her mum. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you- okay.
There's loads of stuff before that. I mean, you
Yeah,
can do. You can go into the
sure.
library. You meet the person who's trying to break into the bookcase, and you have to
Yes.
find a knife.
Loretta.
You break him.
Yeah.
No, not Loretta's. Someone else that you meet
She's the
later on.
podcaster, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gwen.
Gwen.
Yeah.
Gwen.
That
you
annoyed
know-
me, that section, but yeah, go on.
Go
Why?
on,
Talk about that in a bit, yeah.
With the
I'll
podcaster.
talk about
Yeah.
the podcast.
Oh well,
bit, 'cause
but the podcaster, yeah. But yeah,
The bit with the book was a bit odd because, yeah, so Gwen's like, oh, I really need this book. It's in this locked case, and I don't know where the key is. And then you find the book in like on another shelf, and you're like, here you go. And then she's like, oh no,
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but then she's
Yeah,
like,
you
oh
do-
no,
you can
this
do, yeah.
one's the one in the case has got like a signed thing from the author on the inside cover, and I need that. And it's like, okay, that just seemed like an odd sort of red herring to put in there as like a puzzle solution. Like, okay, all right, I thought I'd solved it, but apparently I haven't. Never mind.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Matt says you find it's a knife, isn't it? You find.
Yeah,
love
it's a
the
knife.
way- I
It's a
love the
knife
way
opposite
she
Vin's
describes-
desk.
I like the way she describes the knife. Oh, you solved it with a knife.
Yeah. So I went back to Vin's desk, and there's like, oh no, so maybe it's like a spoon, like a coffee,
Yes,
like a
it's
Oh,
coffee
it's a
spoon.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
because
and I got that.
that's what really made me laugh, because I was picking stuff up and thinking, can I solve this with it? And like Max was like, internal dialogue was, no, it needs to be metal and sort of roundish at the end. And I'm going, all right, so I'm looking for a spoon then. Like, you could have just said a spoon would work. You don't have to go some sort of device that could be used for gathering liquid.
round
Yeah, perfect for cereal.
What is round and shiny but not a fork? Yeah, so that whole quest was.
But yeah, I didn't like the fact she's like, hey, like you like breaking into shit, didn't you? It's like, look, I know that's a hobby, but can you keep your mouth down a bit? I'm in the
also,
library. I was like, yeah, this person here nicks things and smashed into buildings illegally. It's like, shut
also,
right
like, clearly
down.
what is very like an old ornate bookcase.
Yeah.
Probably you would worry about damaging it.
I just
you know?
felt bad about it. Like, why are
Yeah.
you making me into a life of crime?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Should
didn't
we-
like it.
Should we fast forward to Yasmin?
Yes.
Speaks to Yasmin, and
But again, so before that, I was like, oh, great. So I just haven't talked to Moses. And I know we covered it already, but it's like, he comes out and I'm like, I felt guilty for not having talked to him. And he's like, you're right. Like, I think he has option. I think an option is, are you okay? Or he'd almost like semi-ignore him. I was like, why would I semi-ignore him? Just let him go past me without saying, are you okay? I'm sorry.
Been ignoring all of his messages and everything else. So,
No,
you
but
know.
it's just like, I don't know, I didn't like being a wanker about
and
it.
To be fair, he is incredibly understanding about.
yeah, he
you
totally
ignoring him.
is.
He's just like,
yeah,
yeah.
Moses is a dude. But I also put, is Moses a suspect? I feel he might be a suspect, which sucks because I don't want Moses to be a suspect. Thank you very much.
If it turns out Moses did it, I'm never playing another Deck 9 game ever again.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, wow.
No, that is
That
fair
promise.
enough. Okay. So we've got here a call from So you finally meet Yasmin, and she asks you some really like dark questions, and I felt awful. And you're supposed to, I think.
Well, I think, I think because she explains, doesn't she, that the police aren't ruling out suicide.
Yeah, and I put
And-
no. I don't think there's any sign.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
any
I
sign
did
of
that as well.
Yeah, that's
Which
what
I
I
didn't
said.
really feel
Yeah.
comfortable about asking about, because as we know, like,
Mm.
you know, it's not always signs. So it's,
Yeah, I
yeah,
felt
yeah,
weird. Like,
totally.
if I said, I think one of the options is like maybe, because you never truly know. But it's either never truly know or whatever it was. Also, or it was no way. But yeah, I didn't feel confident saying no way because again, you don't. I
yeah.
don't know.
I think my thinking was like, of course there is the possibility, but well, there would be you would have seen the weapon, right? At the scene, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
She
But
might,
also
she might have
in-
used
in
she might have used
this-
an ice knife,
in this
Sean, and it
conversation.
evaporated.
Yasmin doesn't need telling that maybe that's what happened. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But then, is that any more or less comfort than your child being fucking murdered? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? And I suppose, you know, some of these concepts are interesting to get your mind working about what the moral reasons are behind the questions that are being asked and the answers given answer. So it is doing its job, but I don't know. It's it sort of skips over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think it's doing the right thing by asking those questions, but it feels like there's no depth to any of the answers you can either
yeah,
give
you're right.
or
You're right.
how the game even
Or
interprets
there's not
that. It's
enough,
like,
there's not enough depth.
no, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is an interesting potential question, but it's just like, oh, okay. I found the whole relationship between them, the conversation with them two, just weird anyway. Like, I know she's the mother and also senior at the college, but yeah, it felt very cold and
I got the
Yes.
feeling that is not the that is not the Yasmin that Max has met before.
Yeah, true.
That is how it felt, like, because she was manic and she was all over the place and
Yeah.
cold, as you say.
Mm.
But I got the feeling from Max that she was surprised at the person she was talking to.
Yeah,
like,
definitely, because if you read through all the text message conversations and everything,
Mhm.
it gives a very different like portrait of their relationship as well. That they're like, they're really close and all that kind of thing. And then
that's
that's
because it makes it very clear that like certainly Max had like a bit of imposter syndrome coming to the university, but Yasmin was really like, no, you need to fucking be here. You are brilliant. Like, yeah, Yasmin was like a real sort of cheerleader for Max, and yeah.
Cool. Okay, so what photo did you pick for a eulogy?
I think there's only one that I chose.
There's loads.
Well, no, I think there's only one real option, and it's
Go on.
the one where she was singing.
In front of the microphone.
Yeah, show her passions.
That's what I went with.
I went with the
massive.
one where she was reading by the tree.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Sean, there was only one option. So
There's only one real option. And one of them was like, she was she drinking? Which is fine and all, but it's like, I didn't have to do for appropriate for that. And I felt like her showing her passion and being happy on stage, that encapsulated what she's about.
There was another one where she had a T-shirt with "I'm never gonna die, motherfuckers" on it.
Yeah.
And
Never
I just
getting
thought,
shot.
why was this even in the pile? Why is this?
You
on the
can't
pile
shoot
now?
me.
Right. Okay. Then you walk out and you meet lovely Loretta. What a lovely character.
Yeah.
I don't think there's probably a more
Can I just say?
hateful
I
character.
feel like podcasters are being unfairly maligned. By
Yes,
this.
really are. Yeah.
True. That is true. Loretta, would you reckon that was a shot at us? They know we do these things.
Well, no, it's a shot at
Us.
true crime podcasters. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
thinking they can do a serial,
Yeah,
but they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
Yeah, so Loretta comes right in your face and goes, "Right, I want you to be in a podcast." And I said, I said no, but the game made me do this
hang
anyway.
on. You're skipping, overhearing the conversation.
Yes, on the phone.
On the phone.
That was
I hated
fucking,
this bit.
This bit
Yeah.
really annoyed me because it was a
Yeah.
fucking nothing. That was.
Yeah,
It's
it really
like-
was a
It
fucking
is,
nothing.
and I checked afterwards. There's no way for this to end well. Either.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
I
like
had a
again,
look as
I'm
well.
not a
It was
snooper.
such
It's like
nothing thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like if you're in the same room as somebody and they're having a conversation,
in a
you
public
can
area.
In a
Yeah.
public area, sometimes
Zero
you hear
expectation
stuff.
of privacy.
Yeah,
But
And-
also the way that Loretta described it was as if you tapped into her phone.
Yeah.
and was
Yeah,
listening
like
to
bugged
both
her
sides of the
phone.
conversation.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Sorry,
we'll
yeah,
get
go
to
on.
that. We'll get to that. So yeah, so you come over to the podcast. I said I didn't want to do it. The game goes, yeah, you do actually. So you're going to do it. I refuse to answer any questions on the podcast.
Yep, same
And I
here.
put,
Yep.
this is an awful podcast. She died 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like even for a bad character in a game, this is a bit much,
Yeah, you would think even the most cynical true crime podcaster would be like, oh, okay, I've got a lead here. I've got the person who was there at the scene,
Yeah.
but maybe I should approach them in an appropriate, sensitive manner.
Not like turn up and be like, well, I'm doing an expose.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I think I said yes at first because I was like, "Oh, expose, great," and then was like, "Okay, where were you?" I was like, "Oh no, fuck," and not like that. And then
Expose on me.
yeah. So I think I said, "Well, what's it about?" I think that's the option. I was like, "Oh, what's it about?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, tell me." I was like, "Oh, well, actually, no, I'm
Well,
not
she
going to do
basically
it."
lies, doesn't she? So I think she just says it's like, oh, it's about life on campus. Or something. I can't remember. She said something really vague. So you're like, oh, okay. And then straight away, it's like,
Yeah. Where were
so,
you?
so
What
your
did
best
you do?
mate's fucking dead. What's that about? It's really awful.
So the important thing is that the Loretta catches you listening in on the conversation.
Yeah.
Who's
I've forgotten
having
the name
on the
already.
phone?
Yeah. Fucking hell, I've forgotten her name already. The woman you
Gwen.
get a book for. Gwen, thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Gwen. You overhear what Gwen's saying on the phone. So, and Loretta seems to imply, look, if you're not going to play along with this podcast, I'll go and tell Gwen what's happening. And then you've got your big decision. Do you call her bluff or answer her question?
But just before this, like basically, Gwen was on the phone. It was like, you can't call me at work, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, it sounded very suspect.
Yeah,
you
she
know,
says,
but-
she says like, never call me on this number, like only texts or something. And
Yeah. So it was like, okay, something's clearly happening. But
Big decision. Did you call her bluff or did you answer the questions?
Called her buff.
I called a bluff.
Called her
I,
bluff,
also, I also called a bluff.
Okay. We're all on the same page there then. Although she went over there anyway and grassed me up.
Yeah, like, no, thanks a fucking bunch.
Gwen instantly mugged her off, right? So
Yes.
Gwen sort of instantly went no, and then suddenly was pissed off at me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that annoyed me. This bit.
So
did,
I
actually.
went with basically just owning up to it because I thought because Gwen seemed quite,
Same here.
upfront
Yeah.
and would rather have the truth, and it sort of seemed like they were fairly good mates. And yeah, that wasn't what Gwen wanted. And yeah, so I had a look at the if you say like, oh, I thought you were upset or something. I can't. There's an option where it's like, I was worried about you. And Gwen basically says like, "Fucking don't lie to me." Like she does call you out immediately. So I feel like owning up to it is still relatively the best thing to do. But she still ends it with like, "I really thought we were cool," or whatever, doesn't she? And then
Yeah, and it's like, well, it makes me think that Gwen is probably not a nice character, or
Yeah,
at least
because
has some
again,
stuff going on.
2 days since
Yeah.
the event, like probably cut Max a bit of slack for being a bit paranoid and jumpy and.
Also, I just wanted the option to be able to say, "Sorry, I happened to be in the same room as you when you were having a phone call."
Yeah, in a fucking
It's-
cafe.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand this. It was terrible.
Yeah, very odd that.
I should have put done this earlier, but yeah, I've got the pictures basically in terms of like the percentages. Yeah, 74% of people called
Okay.
Call-
Pull the bluff.
called Loretta's bluff.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that was the
So,
right decision,
yeah.
regardless of the
Yeah.
outcome.
Still, I wasn't unhappy with the decision, but it was a bit like, oh right, so I'm destined to fall out with Gwen instead. Then that's the trade-off, which there always is in these games, right? I should be used to it. There's never
Yes.
a perfect outcome.
No.
Yeah.
Right, so you walk out, and outside is a fella called Lucas talking about Safi, and it's revealed that they didn't like each other, but he's acting like they had a really good relationship and blah blah blah.
And referencing his own book.
He was just
In-
totally
Yeah.
just like his own
Yeah.
work and his own
Shilling
books
his own
and
work,
everything.
yeah. But
imagine that?
then it gives you the choice whether to interrupt Lucas or not. You either step in, and interrupt, or you leave them to it. What did you do?
I left him to it and went to go and have a look at Talk with Moses because I thought
I
that
was
was
going
more
to say because
important.
it was sort of implied that it was if you accost Lucas, then
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to console Moses. And I just thought, well, Moses is more important.
Yeah, exactly.
I also cynically, because obviously Life is Strange 1, it was the smarmy teacher who turned out to be the big bad. So I was like, well, they're not going to do that again. This is probably a bit of misdirection.
Or
He's
are
probably
they?
an
Yeah.
annoying jerk, but that's probably kind of it.
Yeah, I don't think he's involved in any way. I just
No.
kind of thought, who would you like? Hey, you didn't get on at all. Like, shut up, Max.
She
You
didn't
get
even
involved
like
for?
you. Shut up.
Yeah, so I also went on to speak to Moses, but yeah, so there's 3 options here, and like so Max spoke at the memorial, 46%. I mean, I didn't even really look at it. I was like, okay, it's there, but I'll just walk around it.
Yeah.
And then 11% declined to speak. So maybe you can like start a conversation, but you say I'm not going to talk. And then
Right, yeah.
I went 43%, which is just on the 46. But yeah, 43% didn't engage with the memorial at all. So I just kind of said, oh, I didn't even look at it. I just walked around it. But some people, I guess, would even speak on behalf on the memorial.
Yeah.
But I went as you said to speak to Moses to find him.
Okay, so what happens after this? This is when you get introduced to your powers for the first time, right?
Yeah.
After you brief chat with Moses.
Yeah.
This time Max seems to be able to look into the past. This must be really weird for everyone else, as Max is just walking around with her arm out. So she's basically, you see Safi walking around, and as a sort of ghost, as an image from the past, and to see
Well,
that
it's not
No,
the
no.
past, though, is it?
No, it's not.
It's an alternate
No,
timeline.
Yeah, alternative. Yeah,
These
it's like,
are alternative. So yeah, these are alternative timelines.
really, I
Yeah, yeah,
totally
yeah.
misread this then.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
an
the
alternate
whole
timeline.
conceit of the game seems to be that it's going to be alternate timelines and you
Yeah.
can skip between them.
Okay. I thought you could just go back in time a little bit, and fucking hell, I totally missed
I
this.
mean, that
No,
makes
no.
more sense, to be fair.
yeah, I thought that's what they were doing.
Because what I mean, and I think what they have done is more interesting because I'm intrigued to see whether it's like, no, there is always going to be a timeline where Safi's dead, and then there's going to be this other timeline where she's still around, and how Like,
Okay.
what does it like? Does Max have to make a decision to be like, well, which is the real timeline? Which do I?
Yeah.
You know?
So looking at the rest of my notes, I did work that out and have since forgotten that
Okay.
I worked it out because I put power. This time, Max seems to be able to look into the past. This must be really weird for everyone else. And my next one is, oh no, it's timelines. The two timelines have now merged, and you can interact with Sophie. Interesting.
But they haven't
Worry
merged, have they? I think
broken
you've
this will
crossed into the other
Safi.
timeline.
Yeah,
Yes,
Safi.
yes.
Yeah, so you've
Well,
crossed
You
into the
can
other
interact with Sophie on David's timeline. Totally new person.
new character, DLC.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's not that the timelines have merged; it's just that you've crossed into the other timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
So then I've put end of chapter, a slow start, but not bad. Interested to see where it goes. I didn't think it's one of the better opening chapters in a Life is Strange game. I certainly think
I
the
don't know.
opening
We
chapters-
all pretty much hated the first chapter of the first Life is Strange.
Yes,
I
that
think
was
Life
a very
is
poor
Strange 2
fa-
started way better.
Yes, you're right. What Life is Strange 2 started way better. True Colors started better.
True Colours, yeah.
And I think what was the stuff before,
Before
the storm?
Yeah, before the storm was
Pretty
good.
good
Yeah,
as
that
well.
was good. Throughout.
I think this it beats Life is Strange season 1 for an opener, but not much else in the series.
See-
It was good. There were some good moments, and I think there are some good characters that I can see myself caring about.
Yeah,
There were just a lot of characters that I was like, yeah, I don't know. You're the obviously bad one, and you're the it's a little bit. But I suppose
Yeah.
how do you? I'm surprised by how many characters have we introduced in this first
You see,
episode. To be honest with you.
I think one of the reasons why it was difficult this chapter was because of the fact that they're having to reintroduce Max again into a different environment with different people, and like it's quite difficult to try and establish all the relationships and that kind of thing. This is why I still think this would probably been better if they'd have just chosen a new character. You could have had a completely different character and run exactly the same story. It wouldn't have mattered. It's the fact that
Yes,
she's
it would
Max
have mattered.
doesn't
It would have
matter.
mattered to sales, and I think that's
Yeah,
where we're at
maybe.
with these games.
But,
Well, yeah, having to bring back an old favourite.
It goes back.
It was
to
nice in
where
some
we
ways,
are
but
at
yeah,
the
it didn't
start,
really
yeah.
add much.
no. I mean, maybe it will in subsequent chapters, but yeah, I thought they could have done this with someone else. It wouldn't have mattered. It'd have been fine.
So
that
that,
was
like,
it.
yeah, it's sort of like, obviously being a big fan of the first game, all I really want to know about the rest of Max's life is that she's all right. Do you know what I mean? I
Right,
don't
right.
need her to go through another tragedy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
She has and she is,
especially
yeah.
like going, when you go through the journal. So James, you won't have seen this. So yeah, you're flicking through the journal, and it's kind of sad because she misses Chloe, and she's sort of writing to Chloe through this journal. And then you get to the last page, and it's fucking horrible because it's the page she's done after Safi's been murdered, and it's just all these horrible like scratchy drawings. And
Yeah.
she's just written like not again, not again, not again. Like it's horrible, like really horrible. I thought like really effective, obviously.
That was the same in mine as well, actually.
Oh, is it?
I
Okay,
still
nice.
had that page. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed talking about it, more with you guys, and I probably look back on now with fond memories. I mean, yeah, it was fine. It was good. It sets off some interesting premises. And what you said, David, about lots of characters, I think they're probably doing that so it's not just okay, they're clearly good, they're clearly bad. Now there's lots of different people. Like, which one is it? And they're trying to, I guess, help the people who have played so many of these who are trying to look for the obvious. Well, they're a bit shady. Actually, no, they're probably good. Actually, or are they bad? Are they good? So by having lots of different people, it's kind of harder for us to try and second guess exactly where it's going. And yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. I'm eager to crack on with the game. To be honest with you, I'm looking
same.
forward to where it goes and what the next episode has in store for us. So, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the podcast and keep an eye out. The plan is to release these once a week alongside our main show. So do give our main show a listen if you haven't already done so, and we look forward to you joining the crew. Patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support what we do, and we'll catch you on the next spoiler cast. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Right.
Goodbye.